last night. Thunder, Nuggets. Thunder looking to move on to the conference final. Nuggets looking to stay alive at home. It's Jokic, it's SGA. Jamal Murray battling through illness and playing well. Now, early in this game, Jay, it was the Thunder and SGA in total control. They're up by 8, they're up by 9, and then critical moment. He picks up his 4th foul in the second quarter.
Yeah, just a careless reaching, but Greeny, I will push back. It wasn't SGA and the Thunder. It was just SGA in control.
Fair enough. But he picks up that 4th foul, and then immediately the game turns, and Jamal Murray, Chene, last night was terrific.
Yeah, you talk about a luxury and embarrassment of riches, especially their role players. Jamal was an all-star, but this was the Christian Brown, the Julian Strawther game.
That's exactly right. Brown had 23. It's a 3-point game at halftime. Third quarter. Here we go. We're on one end of the floor. SGA no good. Holmgren stuffed by Jokic. Stay with the play. We're going the other way. Nuggets in transition, Jay, and it's Murray on the other end.
And one, scream it out. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are just phenomenal down the stretch.
You mentioned Julian Strawther. They needed something from someone besides their big two, and they did. Strawther gives them 15.
High fives to the sideline.
He's excited. Nuggets by 8. That's the score in the fourth quarter. It's Murray again. He would score 25. Nuggets double-digit lead, and then it's Jokic 29, 14, and 8 assists.
Those were the shots that he was missing early on because he was tired, but you could see that their legs were building and their game was getting better and better as the game progressed.
Look at this pass.
We call it That's So Raven. It's a future I can see.
That's ridiculous. And so it is the Nuggets, who stay alive, and for the second straight series, they will play a Game 7. They win it by a dozen. We look forward to Sunday. Here's SGA after the game. All right, with 2 minutes left until halftime, the Thunder led by 14, but the Nuggets began their comeback, which resulted in Denver outscoring the Thunder by 24 points over the final 26 minutes of the game. Jokic and Murray combined for 33 of their 73. Denver had 15 more points from the free throw line than did OKC. Here's SGA.
It's do or die. It's what you live for. It's what you worked your whole life for. It's either your dream continues or your dream ends. So you lay it all out there on the floor and live with the results. But yeah, I'm excited for the opportunity for sure.
Okay, so we set it up for Sunday afternoon. It'll be on ABC, and you were making an interesting observation in our meeting this morning, and this is what I meant when I said it's a couple of different trophies might be at stake on Sunday.
The NBA has elected not to give out the MVP award. Typically, it happens at the first or second round. There's been no announcement. It hasn't happened. We know that it's going to be Shea and Jokic 1-2. We expect it's going to be in that order. History is going to judge this, even though it's a regular season award. History is going to judge the winner of this game as sort of the rightful MVP. Fair or not, we never see a situation like that. Yes, a conference finals bid is on the line, but you might as well put the MVP trophy on the center table because whoever wins this game will always have that over the guy who finished right around it.
So let's do that. Let's put the MVP trophy in the center there, and just let whoever team wins this game, let that guy go and bring the trophy home with him. Who says no?
And then, Greeny, I'm going to say this. I'm going to take Denver to win the game on the road. I like their experience. And also, Denver owes Calvin Booth literally an apology letter, right? Like, think about
that's the GM that got fired. 3 games left in the season.
Not just an apology letter with interest, but also a stimulus check. Because, I mean, he's the reason why they're in Game 7. Think about that bench that Mike Malone didn't want to play. Strawther, Braun, all these people came up big down the stretch in order to give them a chance to be in Game 7.
Interesting, Jay. I thought we were friends. I'm taking SGA and the Thunder because I believe that role players, as we learned in Denver, play better at home. And also, what's kind of wild this series is that's what you needed. You needed the supporting cast. You know, you look at the MVPs in Jokic and SGA. They both haven't played their best version of basketball, but by the numbers, they're still solid. SGA, 29, 7, and 7 on 51% shooting. His 3 has sort of suffered, even though you see him knock down a few. I think that this will be an electric the moment that we have arrived. We've been seeing the Thunder learn on the fly, and this was going to be a painful loss for them to motivate them in Game 7.
And for an exhausted Jokic, go through the number of games they've played. They do get the extra day here.
7 games in 13 days, dating back to this Clippers series. This is an extra day is important, and here's another reason why. Late in this game last night, Aaron Gordon tweaked his left hamstring. He was able to finish the game. Said after the game he was going to get treatment, but that could be huge. Denver doesn't have the ability to withstand a loss of any of its role players. So That health question and the fact that he's going to get a little bit of extra time could be very important.
And when we talk about hamstrings, think about this. He's probably their most explosive athlete, someone that literally won games, not only from three, but also won games, dunking at the rim. So if he's not 100%, that's tough for the Nuggets.
But Shanae, I'll say this, to that old line that says role players always play better at home. I don't know, tell that to the Knicks. That hasn't been the case. That's not always the case. I know that's what we say, but role players sometimes feel more comfortable on the road just with the way travel is and the way they actually condense as a team.
Did you mention the Knicks? So we got one Game 7.
Oh, you were waiting for that.
We might get another. Our next stop is Madison Square Garden. Hence, the Knicks are looking to close it out tonight against Boston. New York coming off a 25-point loss in Game 5, where Boston tied a franchise playoff record with 22 made threes. Here's our resident Knicks superfan, Mr. Stephen A. Smith, talking about his level of concern rising.
It's heightened. It's heightened significantly. I'm going to tell you that right now. If on a scale of 1 to 10 you ask, it's about an 8. It's about an 8. It's about an 8. You can't lose Game 6. But we look at the Boston Celtics and we're reminded they're a talented bunch. They have depth and they have a championship pedigree. Same team they had last year. These guys have been here before. New York Knicks got to win Game 6. Otherwise, I'm not confident they can go back to Boston and win a Game 7.
Game 7, by the way, would not be until Monday night. So he says level of concern is an 8. What say you, Winman?
Chill out, Knicks fans. Trust your team. This team's trademark is how mentally strong they are. I actually think the Knicks are in a much better position for this game than they were in Game 5, and not just because they're in the Garden tonight. They weren't sure how the Celtics were going to attack them in Game 5. They got used to playing them a certain way. They really changed their strategy. Jaylen Brown became a point forward.
Yep.
He had more assists in this game than any game in his career. They were double teaming him. He was spraying out to the three-pointers, and they were making the three-pointers. Look, if the Celtics make their threes, the Knicks are going to be in trouble. But the Knicks will come into this game with a much better prepared game plan for how the Celtics are going to go at them.
And by the way, an 8, this is what the Garden was built for. Madison Square Garden wasn't built for comfort. It was built for a confrontation. I mean, embrace the storm. That's what you want here. This is what this moment is about, Greeny. It's not an 8. This is a 10, and it should be a 10 because everybody's going to play like a 10 because it's really a Game 7, it feels like.
Yeah, it has that feeling here.
Yes.
I think when Tatum went down in the Garden, I think the Knicks fans felt like, oh my God, the Knicks are going to win this thing, and then everything goes sideways on them on Wednesday night. Let's go back to Wendy's point strategically, because I could see you nodding. The Knicks expected Jaylen Brown to try and go Superman and score 50 against them. Instead, he went point forward, and that seems to have thrown them off.
Well, the original Superman that we're seeing on the commercials is Jason Tatum. And when he's out of the game, someone that gives you 30 points per game, and someone that's one of the most elite isolation scorers, sometimes you can stop and wait, and it makes your offense stagnant. Now, without him, now you're seeing them, they're less dribbling, they're doing less dribbling, and they're doing more passing. They're doing less thinking, and they're doing more shooting, especially in transition. This was a Derek White game. He was hitting shots in the maybe first 20 seconds of the shot clock because they understood that we had to operate on a string. As you mentioned, those assists, I think that was not accounted for in the game plan by the Knicks, but now they have to look at Jaylen Brown and say, all right, we have to disrupt this man. So I was really impressed with how the Boston Celtics responded.